Yes,
Okay,
Satyam.
I just started the recording session as well. So today, as discussed yesterday, we can take one container-based application. Then we can push my container-based application into container registry by using of Docker. Then before that, we need to clear the cluster setup along with 4 nodes by using of Kubernetes engine. We do have a deployment using load balancing here. So let's come and go to your GCP console because this is the only one area where we can do any kind of implementation and configuration, right? So for this also, we have a GCP console here. So this is a GCP console. We have a dedicated project. So in your case, it could be any project according to your requirement. So I am using the same, whatever I was using in the previous, so I'm using the same project here. So just go to, this is the Kubernetes engine under the serverless computing. So just click on these all things yesterday we were discussing, right? So I'm just directly going to implementation today. So this is the standard, which is as a part of the free subscription. So I'm just going with the standard plan here. So this is the first thing when you click on create a Kubernetes cluster. So we need to fill some relevant information like cluster name. So let's say in my case, app AKE, sorry, GKE hyphen cluster. You can give any name like according to your project. So they will give some cluster names. Then as per the governance, they might recommended some naming convention. So according to your requirement, whatever they have given, project has given, then try to use the similar name here. So let's go to regional. You can take any one of the regional. Let's say today I will take US West and I'm taking latest version of the Kubernetes here and just check the default pool here. What is the default pool? So whatever the number of nodes in terms of node spots where my application is sitting and deploy, right? So that count has to be given here. So according to the requirement here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. But initially I can give 3. Then as a part of auto scale up, or if you need to scale up the pods, then we can increase one more, as a part of lab implementation. So initially I can give 3 only. Later on, I can increase one more pod just for practical purpose. And rest of the things are same. Just go to try to create your cluster here. Oh, this quota is over. Then I need to change my reason because this reason quota is over. Let me take some different. This quota also closed. Oh my God. At least Europe. Okay. At least Asia. No problem. I can delete existing cluster because we are using free versions, right? We have a limitations in terms of quota. Maybe already one cluster is there. I am deleting this. Because quota is not properly, quota is properly needed. When you are using free version or free trial activation, they have some limitations about vCPU and everything, memory and everything. So if I'm already using clusters for different purpose, so you have to delete it. That's why I told you we have to keep on delete our resources once your practice is done. So let me check another. Oh, it's already in progress. Okay, delete will take around 120 seconds, around 120 or 2 to 3 minutes it will take. Yeah, it's deleted. Just to refresh. Okay, I'm creating fresh one more time because of the quota problem. GKE hyphen cluster. So take reason, and as it is all default values like 3 node pools, everything is fine. Okay. What about South America? South America also all reasons. Mm, So the increase the affected quotas are reallocate resources. So this is my first. Let me check the availability data center where we can accept our requirement. Yeah. So US West EA is taken. Okay. So because I'm using for different purpose now, so maybe US Central, US West already quota is over. So now I have taken US West EA. So my cluster is about to provisioning here. It will take around 3 to 4 minutes. Unable to hear your voice. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, Salim.
Gopal Krishna, can you please check your network bandwidth because others are able to hear my voice. Okay, it's good now. Okay, I was silent for 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes because there was some activity happening like delete cluster. So that's the time I was in a mute. Okay. So my cluster is about to provisioning here. This is my first cluster. You can give any name. So it is provisioning now. So once it is done, then we can take one application. We can do containerize by using of Docker commands. Then we can do deployment. So in the meanwhile, we can download our application. So today I'm taking one of the application for practicing purpose. So just activate your shell. This is the Cloud Shell. You know very well what is the use of Cloud Shell. In order to using any kind of a command line interface, and we can use the active Cloud Shell here. So just open your active shell, then just create one directory. What is today's date? It's 23-03-2022. So just switch to new directory, whatever you have created, just git clone and my new project URL. So this is the new project. So I'm just cloning my project here. Yeah, my project is clone. Just go to there, content, just switch to there. So today our lab is Kubernetes Engine Lab. So I'm just going to Kubernetes Engine Lab application. So this is application here, app.py, config.yml, docker file, some XYZ means application team developed the program in the programming by using of Python. They have implemented one application. So our role is this application has to be deployed into our GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. If you see here, this is my application here. Just now I cloned here. Now I would like to do my application as a container based application. So for that, we need a Docker. Should I explain you what is Docker, how we can make the image? Today, we will try to do implementation. So let me clear my screen. So for this, the first point is, 1 second. So first thing, I need to, if I want to build any kind of as a container based image, so I have to use the Docker image, right? So before that, I would like to explain you what kind of application it is. Briefly, I can explain. The first part is app.py. This is the application development team has implemented one of the application code here. So this is my Docker from Flask import Flask. This is the parameter where we can take it as a programming language, and we are importing as an operating system as well. Means application needed one operating system, right? So in the socket connection means if you want to deploy any kind of a, if you want to enable any kind of a communication, socket will play very key role here. So they have imported socket as well, and application route to some piece of code in the very small piece of code in the HTML code here. So let's change it. This is my application. It's supposed to be hosted here. And this application, let me small changes I would like to change. Let's take welcome to the Google Kubernetes cluster for my application. Okay, simply save it. What is the save command? :WQ ascentile. Just save it. So once it is saved, then go to your app. This is my ML file, right? In the last few labs we have done like this. Just try to remember. So here I need to put my application ID here, sorry, project ID, because I need to build my image, right? So in which project you're supposed to be build your image. So here I need to mention, because if you have multiple projects, it is very difficult to understand the system, which project I supposed to be build my image, right? So here you have to mention your project ID. So my project is nothing but this one. Let me open another console. Yeah, this is my project ID. So I am just copying this and I just switch here, do paste. Oh, something is not properly copied. Yeah. So I think D is missing. Development. Yeah, D is missing. So let me add D as well. Yeah. So just save it. If you want, you can use Open Editor as well, guys. Okay, if you want, you can simply go click on Open Editor. If you're not comfortable with the Linux kind of enhancement kind of a command, simply you can open Editor here. Then it is still connecting. Yeah. So let me go to my path of my project. What is my project? CD 23 today. Then I'm switching to my application folder path. Then again, I'm switching to the same command I'm using here. Okay. So let me maximize it. So once it is done, then just go to your project. Where is your project? Your project is available under this particular folder, and this is my project. So app.py. So just know whatever we have changed here, it is available now. Then go to config file. So whatever I have given the project name, it is available here. If you want, if you're comfortable with only this kind of a window kind of editor tool, you can align it here as well. If you want, you can change it here as well. It's up to you, because since I am telling the options, like you have to handy with the editor, you have to handy with the command line interface and everything. Command line interface matlab active cloud shell. So it's up to you how much you're comfortable. Anyhow, output is important. Nothing matter how you have implemented, right? So you can implement in any way. Yeah, I think the cluster is done now. So once my cluster is created, now I need to do deploy. So before deployment, so let me close all files for confusion. So now my part is application is ready. Now I want to build my imager as a container-based application. For that, I need to use the Docker here. So in order to using Docker, first of all, I need to align my Docker tool into my Google Cloud, because Docker is a separate tool, right? Basically, if I want to use my Docker kind of a commands into my G Cloud, so I need to first, configure my Docker kind of a tool here. For that purpose, what we supposed to be do? First of all, I need to use properly configured my Docker tool here. So first of all, I need to use the command. This small 1 or 2 commands only, nothing much. I think so. This screen is very small for you. better. I can go, no, I can use it here. Otherwise I can use Cloud Shell. Is it visible, guys? Is it visible? Or I need to maximize here?
It's visible.
Let me try to, because we have limitations in the window, I cannot increase more. So anyhow, I'm trying. This is section view command palette. So no, this is not. Okay, there is no option to maximize because I searched a lot. I'm closing this. I'm just maximizing this window. I think so this would be better. Yeah, that's fine. So now I am in my project path. Means I am here. This is my application code here. So what is the config XML? I will like to explain this as well for understanding only. We don't need to write anything. But anyhow, I will explain you. So if you see here, what our applications have written, they are using some API version, and this is the deployment metadata. They are using Kubernetes. Of course, application name is Kubernetes only because only we are creating the cluster, right? And creation timestamp, it's a old date because it's I have taken from the internet only. So they have implemented like 2018. And coming to NGINX, NGINX is a technical term where as a part of Kubernetes engine. If I want to provisioning my Kubernetes engine, NGINX is the it's kind of a Apache kind of a server basically. Like that, here also they have some own kind of application servers. So that is why they are using app NGINX means it's kind of a application server wherever my piece of code has to be deployed, right? And namespace means, let's say in GKE, we have a multiple, I told you, right? In GKE, in the single infrastructure, we can do deployment multiple applications. But here namespace will come to the picture. I forgot to explain this part. Anyhow, I can explain. Just 2 minutes it will take. So namespace most important in the interview purpose also. They're asked what is a namespace. So namespace is a unique identifier, like where you can segregate for each application what is deployed in the GKE basically. Let's say I have 3 applications which is about to deploy in the same GKE, same cluster. I told you, right, we can do multiple applications in a single shot. If you remember, if you see here, this is the single same infrastructure, but different application, container based applications. We have a infrastructure, we have a Docker. Now you remember why I explained all these things in the first day of the GKE, right? So this is the infrastructure. This is my Docker. This Docker is maintaining all kind of application by using of containers on the pods level, basically, right? So here, if I have A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 applications, just assume like that. So if I don't have namespace, let's say, if I don't have namespace, how GKE engine will know that this application is belongs to this one, this, how they can segregate? It should know, right? So in that concept, we are using the namespaces. This namespace will segregate for namespace 1, namespace 2, namespace 3. So once I deployed my 3 applications, just assume that as of now we are going to deploy only 1 application. Just assume that if I have deployed 3 applications in the same cluster, then how this cluster know that, yeah, this application is belongs to this application is belongs to this. So by segregating of namespace, it will understanding that, okay, in my infrastructure I have 3 applications. So by using of this namespace will give you which project or application whatever is deployed into with particular pods basically. So here we are using only 1 application. That's why it's taken as a default namespace. If you want to provide any kind of a namespace name, then it will take it as a default namespace basically. So resource version, it's just kind of application related, nothing linked to any Kubernetes here. And this is the self link and UID. This is also it's kind of an API version of the extension of namespaces. Let's say if I'm using namespaces, of course, the application team has to mention the namespaces information. And replicas, here they have mentioned like 1, but it will overwrite because we are using 3 replicas, right? 3 nodes we are using in my cluster, but it will take overwrite this value, and this value will take it from our cluster only. In the cluster, I have given like, 3 number of nodes. Then this is the coming is, and this is the all by default template only. Metadata is nothing important. Yeah, containers. So this application using this project, just now I copied it here, and I am giving my container name as well. You can change any name. It's not a unique queue. You can give any name. It will take it here. Then it will take it as a V1. V1 means version 1. If you are using again application deployment in second time, you can give to V2 as well. It's up to you. Otherwise, you can maintain the same version 1 as well. It's up to your choice. And like that, they have written in their YAML code by application team. For just for understanding, I have explained here. You don't need to write anything here. Application team will write it here. If any values like replicas and these names, these container names, you have to enter it. Rest of the all code, they will write it here. Only our role is our container name along with version or name of my image. I have to write it here. That is the only my responsibility as a cloud engineer. Rest everything they will take care of it here. Okay, so just come out of it, and let's go to try to build your image first. Where are you? I am here. Just switching to my 23. This is my Google, sorry. Yeah, now I am directly switched to my project area. Let me clear my screen. Then for the first command is Docker command is, in order to build my container based application, the Docker command is, don't worry, I can give this Docker commands in your step-by-step documentation. So Docker space, build space, -t is the flag name of my tag. Sorry, -t is the flag name of my tag. Then you can give any container name, but in the YAML file, I have mentioned as the name as LA-container-image. And sorry, dot means wherever I'm here, where I'm here right now, I switch it to my project application directory, right? So inside the whatever content is there, it has to be built by using of Docker command here. So just try to hit that. Once you hit, it is trying to do authorization, because I am using this project in the sense it has to be authorized. Just click on authorization. Then it is trying to do validation. Once validation is done, then it is trying to build our application image, which is containerized application. So just wait for some time. Now it is sending my Python application in order to build my image by using of this Docker command. So it is taking C for all, like collecting all information, whatever written in the app.py, xyz, xyz. So simply it is built successfully and successfully tagged to my image, whatever I have given the name. This image has been tagged as a LA-container-image. So if you see any error here, then you have to do troubleshoot. If you give some kind of a wrong information, XYZ, XYZ, you have to do properly. If you see this kind of an image like successfully built and successfully tagged my image, then my build is at least successful now. Still we need to do deployment. Okay. So this part is completed as per our law. Just now I am using Docker. I have created the image as well. So next is I need to do I need to push my this part. I need to push my image into container registry. If you see this arrow mark, by using of Docker command, whatever I have created the application image, which is the container based image, then I need to push into container registry. What is container registry? The container registry contains set of images, whatever we are using in the my cluster, or different areas. We are deploying many applications, right? So whatever it's deployed is done, then this container registry will store or maintain such a kind of images of my containerized applications basically. So just go to one second, one second, guys. Yeah, sorry. So come back. Now I need to push my image, right? So first of all, oh, sorry, let me clear this. So my build image is ready. Then first I would like to check whether my able to auth off into my Docker here. So for that, you have to use the Google gcloud command, like gcloud space auth space configure Docker, because I'm just already we have added Docker, but still I need to double check it. So often Docker. So what is telling adding credentials for all GCS repositories? Find the credential help us already registered correctly. So I'm just clarifying that whether my Docker register is completely properly happened or not, because just now I ran build command, Docker build command, right? So I just revalidated whether my gcloud credential help us already registered to correctly or not. So according to this message, so by using of this command, gcloud space auth means authentication space config -docker. So they may ask in the technical discussions. So if you want to validate whether your Docker tool is properly aligned with gcloud, what kind of a command you would like to use? So you have to tell that gcloud space auth space configure -docker. Okay. So they might be asked this question as a part of your GKE discussions. So once it is validated, then I need to push my image into my container registry. For that purpose, then I need to execute one more Docker command, like Docker space tag. What is the tag name? LA hyphen, somewhere I kept right. Yeah, here. So LA hyphen container hyphen image space. This is GCR container command, GCR space. IO means input output. What is my input here? First of all, I would like to give my project ID. Let me take my project ID. This is my project ID. Give your project ID, then / your image of container. That is LA hyphen container hyphen image :v1. Same thing, whatever earlier I have given, same thing I am just trying to use as a part of push command here. So once you did that, yes, my Docker image, sorry, my container image is added now. Now I can successfully push into my image into my container registry. For that, there is last command of Docker, sorry, let me clear it first. Docker space, push space, my GCR.io / kind of my project ID. Let me take my project ID. This is my project ID. Then along follow with your container image. That is LA container image :v1. This is the version 1, because in the YAML file we have given the image name like that, so we have to follow the same. So once it's done, I believe it's the correct. Docker space push space GCR input output / project name / your image name along with your tag. Your tag is nothing but a version 1. So just try to hit this command. So now if you see here, my image is pushing now. If you see here, the first thing is Docker is first passing the signal like pushing my thing, and rest of the thing is still in progress now. So once it is done, it is telling push it is successful. Push it means it's successful only. Then there is the how much 1789 files. Fine. Okay, anyhow, we can do cross verify. Let's go to your container registry. In the CI/CD, we have a container registry, right? So I need to cross check that whether my image is properly pushed or not. Let me, yeah. If you see here, LA container image, my image is already is successfully pushed here, right? LA container image. Once I use the command by using of Docker command, in terms of pushing, my image is successfully pushed into my container registry. So come to lab, this part is over. First, we have cloned the application, and I have aligned my Docker tool into my gcloud. Then by using of Docker commands, I push my, before that I build the image by using of Docker command. Once my image is successfully built, then I push it into my container registry by using of Docker commands, right? So next, the main part is a deployment here. These are the prerequisites before deployment. So now go to our cluster here. Let's go to Kubernetes engine and go to workloads. Cluster is successfully done. The main deployment part will happen under the workloads only. So what is the role of workload in the sense? You have to tell that any kind of application deployment by using, this is one of the component in the GKE architecture, right? If you remember, workload is one asset, right? We have two things. One is the main ingress controller thing, and second thing is the workloads, like where my application deployment will happen and sit and up and running. So I just navigation into my workloads. Inside the workloads, just click on deploy. So if you click on deploy, it will ask where is your container? Is it existing one or is it new one? Right? So because already my container image is available, just now I pushed it by Docker command, right? So click existing container image. So click select. If you go on, you might see your particular container application. If you see here, LA-image here. Okay. So just click on this and just select it here. Means I just navigated to my container path where my container based application image is available. So I just navigated and given that particular path here, because when I'm trying to deployment, it will navigate to your path only, because without navigate to our path, how system knows that where is your image in terms of availability, right? So like that, we have to add it and just click on continue. And application name, you can do anything like GKE, cluster. You can use any name. This is application name only. So in the live environment, they might give this application name. Okay. So accordingly, you have to use the same naming conventions. The namespace I am using default here. If you have different application, you can use whatever you have given the namespace in the YAML code, then you can give it here. So this is the labeling, nothing a technical implementation, it's just kind of a visibility to the audience only. Rest, I am fine. Then I'm trying to do deployment here. So once you trigger the deployment here, it is trying to get first image and it will try to deploy on our cluster, whatever I have created. So let's see how will go the things. So this deployment will take, oh, this much fast, really great. Actually, it will take 5 minutes. I don't know. Today, maybe this data center is free, maybe. That's fine. So if you see here, my GKE, at least deployment is successful now. Only deployment is successful now. That means whatever in this diagram by using of things. So we have, of course, 4 nodes, but I have given only 3 nodes. Later, I can increase 1 more node. By using of Kubernetes engine, I have deployed it here. But deployment is done, but still hosting part is balanced. So now using of load balancing, I can host my application into internet. Let's host my application. If you see here, to let other access deployment as well, create service. Okay, just go to create service here. So this is my load balancer information here. This is my load balancer type. If you see here, this is my load balancer type, and this is my service name. Just hit as a expose. Means now I am hosting my application. Because this is a GKE architecture is like looking like that. When you comparatively like App Engine and Cloud Functions, this is a bit different because the GKE architecture is looking like that. So it's still load balancer is exposing now in the internet of my application. Let's see the results. It will take around, of course, some time. We have to wait for that. Deployment has taken very fast, but load balancer is taken much extra time. No problem. So if you see here, my application is just hosted by using of my load balancer here. If you see external endpoints is automatically created, right? So if you click on this, if you see here, welcome to the Google Kubernetes cluster for my application. whatever I have given as a statement, because these are my application, right? So this has to be hosted in the internet. So just try to use this URL, guys. Maybe you are able to access or not. I would like to check the firewall rule here. So that's why. Just try to access this application in your mobile phones or laptops, whatever. And let me know your valuable feedback.
Working.
That means firewall is working.
That's working.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, working.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So that's how, see, implementation is very simple, but understanding is most important here. That's why I explain a lot about the theoretical. Actually, I don't like theoretical part, but still I explain in the 2 days class, because when I'm using implementation, it's very simple. Nothing, hardly 3 or 4 kind of steps only, straightforward steps. Any application you have to do it like this only. Nothing will differ, will not be differ. The similar kind of pattern. Maybe you might be working the real time as a real application. So that's the only difference you can say. But you have to understand the terminology about cluster, workloads, services, and all those. At least 3 to 4 criteria. This is all the components of the GK architecture here. If you see here, my application service is successfully deployed under the 3 pods basically. This is my namespace. This is my endpoint of my application. This is action and load balancer, right? So, and coming to the cluster here, let's say I have given 3 pods only, right? Sorry, 3 nodes only. Let's give to increase my pods at runtime. So let's go to here, and where is, oh, this is cluster, sorry, workloads. So go to your work nodes. So I need to go and increase my replica. So where is my thing? Where is my replica parameter? Yeah. If you see here, initially we have given 3 now, right? So now, oh, sorry, I need to edit. I just click on edit here. I'm giving just replica as a 4. Okay, just save it. Once you save it, automatically, if you see a setup and automated, sorry, pods are pending. Pods are pending means my 4th one is updating now. So just wait for some time, or otherwise do refresh. Within 5 seconds, my pod is automatically added. If you see here, this is my 4th pod. Earlier it was 3 pods. Now automatically it's a 4th pod. If you want, you can go cluster as well and check it here. Oh, it's still not reflected. Come on, come on. What happens? Yeah, sorry, here reflected here. So cluster is still 3 in the sense it is updated soon. Wait. So workload is already updated. If you see here, this is the 4, but anyhow, we can have a kubectl commands. We can check that anyhow. So if you see here, pods are reflected here, but in the cluster, it will take some time, but at least added in the for my application, right? Here, it will take some time to update. So in the work nodes, earlier it was a 3x3 pods. Now it is a 4x4 pods basically. Means simply I click, I just hardly taken 10 seconds to adding 1 pod. Just imagine in the production, if I want like, adding 10 pods also, hardly I will take it 2 minutes or 1 minute, right? Runtime without impacting into my existing application. Earlier what happening, if I want to add something as a part of cluster extension, there was a downtime. I need to go, I need to switch off my machines. I need to shut down my business for 30 to 45 minutes. Then I need to add it. Then I need to restart my machine. It was a kind of hectic work, man. The people who are working at 2013 or 14 or 15 years, I mean, for 5 years, those people know the pain of cluster extensions basically. But now once cloud computing is come to the picture, like Google, GCP, and all those stuff, so this is the beauty of, this is called a runtime extensions. Simply runtime extensions in the sense without downtime, zero. I told you, right, what the meaning of cloud means. This is zero. One of the best quality of cloud is zero downtime. So am I schedule any application? No, right? Am I still my application is running, but still I have extension one pod at runtime. But my application is still running, up and running. If you see, still my application is run up and running successfully. So, right, such a kind of things we can do, like scaling and all those stuff at runtime, even though its production doesn't matter. So we do everything like that. So now go to how I can check what, okay, cluster is ready, my application is ready, deployment is ready, hosting, everything is ready. But I need to check my pod servers at the back end because sometimes pod's health, maybe I need to check it, how I can check all those stuff. We have a one tool basically in, for especially for GKE, we have a kubectl. Okay, the name is looking like that. I don't know why they have given like that. So kubectl, sorry, not kubectl. We are calling it a kubectl. So kubectl is the tool where we should using for checking of pods, GKE servers, everything. Let's go how we can check. Hardly 3 or 4 commands only. Don't bother about that. So just go to there and go to my deployments and connect. Yeah, once you click on connect, okay, let me come back again. See, once you inside the cluster, on my cluster, then you might see the connect cloud shell. This is typically for GKE. It's not about the cloud shell, guys. Similarly, but it's typical for GKE. Just click on it. If you see here, you can connect to your cluster via command line or using a dashboard. Dashboard already we've seen that, but no, I don't want. I want to see the backend as well. So just use this particular configure QCD command line as access by running following command. If you see here, just copy. I would like to explain this command, not blindly executing. Oh shit. Copy it. Yeah, so if I want to execute my kubectl command in gcloud, of course gcloud is the common command. Here container clusters, first I need to get credentials because I want to access my cluster. In console level it is do automatically authorization. In that click authorization click chesan kada, automatically it's validated my credential. But here it's take get credentials from the cluster zone, whatever I have given project name, then only it will do validate. So let's go simply run in Cloud Shell. Click on Cloud Shell. So automatically my command has been taken here. Just try to enter. See, fetching cluster endpoint and auth data. At console అయితే మనం just authorize click చేసేస్తాం directly because at the console user interface level. But now you are executing the command level as a best practice. You have to execute this kind of a command. Then it will do validate cluster endpoint along with auth data. So once kube config entry generated for your cluster means here I can use my kubectl command. You cannot use directly kubectl command without entering into kube config. మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను, మీరు kubectl commands ని డైరెక్ట్ గా క్లౌడ్ షెల్ లో యూజ్ చేయలేరు. Before that, you have to switch into your kubectl path first. In order to doing that, you have to execute this command. You no need to remember this command, but still automatically, even though I do copy it right here. So this GCP console will give you your shortest path without remembering as well. But when you are discussing in the technical panels, you have to remember at least basic like gcloud, container, clusters, at least my project name along with my zone name, like that. You have to tell like that. Even though మీరు full-fledged command remember గుర్తించకపోయినా, at least you can give some high level hint to the technical interviewer. Okay, for better impression. If you remember full command also, it's really good. If not also, just partially you have to remember. Okay, gcloud space, container space, cluster space. This is the standard command, guys. Only it will change zone name, your cluster name, and your project name. This command is same for till here. Gcloud space, container space, cluster space, get credential space. From here, you have to give according to your requirement in terms of like your cluster name, your zone name, and project name. Okay, so once you validate it, you have successfully logged it here. Then here you have some small kind of a piece of commands kubectl in order to check your pods and server stats here. So the first command is kubectl get nodes. If you execute this command, this is the most important command. Regularly you might be used when you're working with the GKE. If you see here, this is cluster 1, 2, 3. Nodes are telling 3 here. This is the first cluster of my thing. In the pool, I have taken 3 nodes here. 1, 2, 3. Let's check about the pods. Same command, just last you have to give pods. If you see here, the pods is showing 4. What is that? GKE app cluster. Till from here, the name will change. The name here, whatever you have given, it will come as a prefix. But from here, The first pod is segregated by this number, which is automatically assigned by Kubernetes engine. This is second one. This is third one. This is fourth one. Means whatever I have deployed my application, they are sitting here. Sitting here in the sense, let me go to my presentation for better understanding. This thing, this part. Under the nodes, we have a pods, right? 1, 2, 3. In my case, we have 4 pods as well. You can get any number. It doesn't matter. Count doesn't matter here, guys. Count only depends on your project requirement only. Okay, doesn't matter is the 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 100, whatever. So this part we are doing now. This part we are checking now. So if you see here, my pods are available here and my nodes are available here. Let's check how to check my namespaces. Okay, so I'm using namespaces, right? If I have 3 projects, I need to check how many namespaces are there. So in interview, you might ask you, let's say you are a new joinee in my project. Okay, so you have recently joined in my project. So without telling anything to you, if you want to check how many namespaces are there in your GKE cluster, how you would like to check without telling anything. You are a new guy. I just given the access to you, GCP console access. From there, you have to know how many namespaces are there, how you can check that. For that, we have a command like kubectl get, sorry, let me clear screen. What's the command? Yeah, kubectl. kubectl is the common, guys. Okay, like how we are using gcloud. Similarly, in GKE, kubectl common command as a prefix you can say starting with kubectl only. Okay, rest of the parameters will change according to using of your command. Kubectl space name namespace. Yeah, if you see here, I have a one namespace. Rest kube, node lease, kube public, kube system. These all are the automatically generated by GK engine as a part of default namespace. If you say, if you have 3 applications, definitely you might see here you have to create 2 more namespaces because because we cannot use same namespaces for other projects. Why? I can explain you. Let's say I will take some funny example for this, okay, for better understanding. You have a student register. Okay, you have a student register. Let's take let me take my name itself. I have a Sheikh Salim as a student. I have another person named Sheikh Subani. I have one more person like name Sheikh. Don't mind, I'm just taking as a normal example. Okay, Sheikh Wali, like that. Let's say here I have my teacher. Okay, the calling attendance like Sheikh, who will respond from 3? If he is calling like a Sheikh, who will respond first? It's not only first. So 3 people will respond, right? Obviously, right? Because the prefix of name is same here. The prefix of name is same here. But if the same teacher calling Salim, then I can respond. If the same teacher calling Subani, then I can respond. The same teacher is calling Wali, Wali will respond, right? Means here the namespace is nothing but this part. You might understand very clearly now, I believe. So the namespace we recognize to here, teacher is the Google engine. Sorry, Kubernetes engine. Google Kubernetes engine. Because system doesn't know, it should be very clear in terms of if you're commanding something, if you're commanding using something, it should be very clear. Otherwise, system will, if system doesn't understand, it won't respond you, first point. Since we are human, at least we can respond, but system will not respond you if you're not giving proper command. So that is why GKE architecture has been maintaining kind of a namespaces to segregation of that. So this might be namespace using for application A, this namespace might be using for application B, and this namespace might be using for application C. Okay, so like that way, because we have a single infrastructure, right? What is the how GKE? What the beauty of one of the beauty of GKE means? We have a single infrastructure, multiple applications are sitting here. So my GCE engine has to be recognized by using a namespace in order to segregate by for different application here. So come back to my name here. So like that way, So you can try one more application also if you want. And anyhow, we can have multiple labs also. You can do more and more application as well if possible. So like that way, you can get namespaces information by using of this. So once you execute this, simply you can say to your manager, yeah, we are using this kind of a namespaces. Then they can good impression on you, because these are all the live kind, real time kind of experiences, right? So you have to do practice like that. So, and what else? And I think so few commands are there. I forget actually. I kept namespaces or yeah. So this is a very small regular command only, but some bit different. There is one more kubectl commands. Of course, kubectl space get pods minus service name. So I want to see my pods along with my service name, means my application name, means which service is using on which pod. So simply I have to run this command. Like kubectl space get pods, you know very well, but the extra parameters are space minus n, name of service basically, and services. You just try to enter no resources for your service namespace. Okay. So let me queue, what is my service name? My application name, right? Let me go and check my application name. What is my application? Go to workloads, GKE-app-cluster. Okay. So the name of service is GKE- what is that? GKE app cluster. App-cluster. Just go and go to your here. Let me clear my screen. Okay. No resource fund in GKE app cluster namespaces because this is the default namespace. Oh my God. If I have another namespace, it would be really good. Okay, when we are doing second application deployment, that time we can, because it's a default, right? So that's why it's telling already default has taken my application. So there is no additional resources for this particular namespace. Actually, that is the problem. Not problem. There is no resources basically. If you want to check like that, you can use this command if you have multiple applications. And yeah, this is the most important command. Let's execute, then I can explain what is the command. Simple command only. kubectl get deployments. If you execute this command, your app will be show you. Means, what is my app here? GKE app cluster along with 4 pods here. And how many deployments happen? 4 deployments, because 4 pods are there. My application is sitting 4 pods. So if I want to see you, my application, how many pods are being used here? Of course, we have a kubectl get pods as well, along with my application name. This is my application name, right? If I want to see, if you see here, if I use kubectl get pods, it will show you only your parts information here along with your cluster. But if I'm executing deployments, it will show you your application name here, like GKE app cluster name. We have given application name like that, right? So like that way, small commands only, but you have to practice like at least 5 to 6 commands, because whatever I shows you here till 4 commands, these are the more regularly you have to use when you got a chance with GKE in your projects. Okay, so let's how I can restart, how we can do rolling restart of my 4 parts. Let's say there is some activity you might get a chance to execute. These 4 parts has to be restart by manual. Of course, it will do auto restart also, but there is a chance you might get a chance to there is a one ticket. So these 4 pod, whatever my application is sitting, these 4 pods has to be restart in terms of rolling restart, not at a time, in terms of rolling restart. What is rolling restart? Rolling restart means I have 1 2 3 4 parts. 1 2 3 4. Rolling restart means first one, once it is completed, it will restart by 2, then 3, then 4. Not at a time 4 shutdown, because if at a time shutdown 4, it was business impact, right? So rolling restart means 1 by 1. Simply I can say the simple term I can say 1 by 1. So first it will restart 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So the command, very simple command, is this command. So this is the last command only, don't worry. So you can give your application name here. You have multiple application, you have to give the application name here. Which application is supposed to be rolling restart here. So I have given application name. The command is kubectl rolling out or restart deployment of my application. Let's go and execute. Let me clear my screen. So deployment is restarted. If you see here, deployment at API GCP Class restarted. Let's see the status. What is the command of my pods? Get kubectl get pods here. If you see here, the pods are trying to terminate here. So just do keep on refresh, still is terminating. Just check within 5 to 7 seconds, the restart will happen successfully. Again, just refresh your pods. Again, refresh your pods. Let me clear your screen. Again, you can use your pods. Yeah, there is one balance. So still you can do your refresh. My pods are restarted. Hardly taken 7 seconds. See the beauty of this. So like that way, you have to check, do kind of your pods status information, if my pod is running mode or not. Sometimes what happen, if something is goes with the application level issue, they might ask you, what is your pod status? Or what is your server status, they will ask you. So you have to log in into here. Then you have to check the pod status here. If you see this, then simply take this snapshot and give it to them. This is the proof. When you're working as a cloud engineer, as a support operations, you need to give proof, right? So simply they take this, kind of a snapshot and you can share it with your team. Not here, I'm just telling with you, just short in your team meetings, because if something happened like P1, P2 calls, obviously all people will join in the live call, team call, right? So during that time, as a responsibility who is working on that time, ఆ P1 P2 కాల్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు మీరు మీ యొక్క pod status or health status ని మొత్తం you have to share it with the stakeholders, because that is the standard procedure. My infrastructure is very healthy, so there is no issue with my infrastructure. Then if you have to tell like that, you have to give proof, right? Such a kind of a concept when you're working with GKE. Then you have to check the pod status. If they want, you have to restart the pods as well. So by using of these commands, hardly 4 to 5 commands, you have to utilize it basically. So this is the overall about one lab kind of a implementation. Like we have done simple lab, like we have taken one simple application, we have built one image, we have pushed the image into container registry by using of Kubernetes engine. We have done the deployments. Once deployment done successfully, we have hosted our application into internet. Then we have practiced some kind of a kubectl commands as well. Then what next? Today, whatever I shows you is completely console level. I told you that every lab I can show you in the different manners. So by tomorrow, the same kind of a cluster creation, same kind of a deployment, we can do it by what it is. Can anybody guess?
In Cloud Shell.
Yeah, absolutely, Cloud Shell. Because yeah, this is the most important, right? So I need to show you in the console level, in the command line interface level as well. So tomorrow we can take one more implementation lab by practicing. Then everything we can do it by CLI only. There is no console level. For verification, yes, we can come into console anyhow. Once we deploy, once we configure cluster and deployment, anyhow we can check it into console only. But the same thing, whatever I have done in the console level, tomorrow we can implement by CLI level. So that's it, guys. Any interesting or boring, or of course we have to take it as interesting only, otherwise I don't have any options. So that's it for today. Any questions so far? Any doubts? Did anyone notice one thing here? Manam, we did a lot of application deployments till now, but today we haven't used any kind of a repository. Then how my piece of code is taken and how it was happened in terms of deployment? Is anybody noticed today? So here the only change is this part. Docker is taken care by creating of that my application image. So here repository is not using, here we are using the Docker. That's the only difference we have to notice. Okay. So yeah, any questions? Yesterday, Chandra, is your problem resolved, or do we need to anything discuss here today?
Yeah, Sheikh, it's okay, done. My
Yeah,
problem.
any kind of a root cause analysis, you can share it over the WhatsApp as well. Might be used for other members, maybe. Okay, so you might be fixed something, right? If it is resolved in the sense, you might be fixed something, right? So just share it with your experiences over the WhatsApp group. Maybe it will useful to others as well. Okay. Okay, I will be here for next couple of minutes. Then we can wrap up the call. Then I can join my office work.
Just want to understand the role of a load balancer in
Yeah,
particular. So
yeah.
basically, what my understanding says, like, is load balancer will balance the entire structure of the nodes, like how many nodes are being deployed into one particular project. Is my understanding correct?
No, partially correct, but the main core functionality of load balancer is it's not like that. So basically, the load balancer LB, we're shortcutly calling as a LB. LB will take care of only the
Okay, 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 okay.
traffic of the load. So it doesn't matter how many nodes are there, but yeah, it will route to node based
Yes.
on the algorithm. So it doesn't matter if you have only two, it will route to one, not two. Which one is the healthy? If you have three, it will equally distribute it to 1, 2, 3. Only that responsible. So it doesn't matter how many loads are there, everything, but whatever we have, it will simply take the traffic and try to balance and route into the our managers, nothing but a pods or nodes, whatever we have. But this load balancer insidely, nowadays we are not at all using physical load balancers. Everybody are using the software load balancers basically. So this software load balancer having the algorithms which are written by professionals inbuilt of load balancer. They have written some kind of a round robin algorithms. This is the famous scientist round robin.
Okay.
So this algorithm is very famous for most of the projects, most of the vendors. They will take round robin algorithms majority of the times because this is a very famous algorithm in order to routing the traffic without without impacting on the servers basically. So
I
this
think
round robin,
my knowledge round robin refers to something like sequencing. Like first it will go to
yeah,
that.
yeah.
After that, go to, if it doesn't, then is
Yeah,
that
yeah, it's like that. It's an inbuilt algorithm only. No need to write anyone. It's inbuilt algorithm. Yeah, in
okay?
the load balancer configuration. This kind of a load balancer generally not GKE context. Generally will configure by network engineers, but here in the GKE context, it automatically taken by GKE Kubernetes engine when you are creating the cluster.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah. Okay, guys, and have a nice day. Tomorrow we'll connect at the same time. Bye.